Hello everyone, and welcome to this match of Sequence versus Divine Dead. We have Deathslinger playing the Deathslinger first sequence, and already we are in chase at this weird edge map filler palette. It's going to be Sequence on the killer against the survivors of Divine Dead, Milston, Kurzep, Sayora, and Good K Ann. And Bloodlust and so very much mind games happening. We do see the cigar and the worn keys, and Kurzep vaults straight into Deathslinger, but somehow lives. Deathslinger looking for the cheeky shot under the pallet. If anyone could, I was gonna say if anyone could make the shot, it's Deathslinger. But Kurzep doing his best, holding his own against this Deathslinger, doing a really good job, and already a generator is done? Wow.
Yeah, look, I tell you what, Will, 2 edge map palettes, that's something I forgot to talk about with the updates to the Autohaven realm. The edge map filler palettes do spawn on all of the maps, and having 2 of them so close to each other is insane, because you're looping a 110 killer around there, and Deathslinger trying to go for those shots has cost him so much early game pressure, as we have a survivor stealthing near the shack, and Ace, Milston, already about to complete a second generator as well, even through the pain res regression. Now, we are going to spot out our survivor in the shack, though. Are we going to see some shots through the window here? We should be able to land this one here, though. We do get that shot onto the near, which is very, very lovely stuff. And just going for the cigar, because you got that 1 second less animation time when they break the chain, which we saw come kind of into play in the last chase as well, but the second edge map filler palette just sort of came along and said, allow me to introduce myself.
Yeah, another generator getting completed. But continuing that conversation of the cigar, I almost wonder if it'd be more worth to just get the hit there than just wait like the 3 seconds for the chain to break. But we have a messed up skill check on that generator off in the distance. Deathslinger just wants to make sure Kurzep hits second stage, hits second, just leaves, and that's what you do. A very nice, simple camp. Sayora getting reset over by the generator, and so far no one looks like they're remotely going for the save, but that's because Deathslinger's here just wants to prevent anything from happening. We talked about the one hook in camp on the Huntress, but Deathslinger seems to be much more of the same.
Oh, look, when it comes to these kind of hill spawns, Will, there's no scenario where I think you shouldn't force stages, especially when you have some gens in the area that you can pressure at the same time as well. If any survivor were to try and go for the save in this scenario, even if your killer isn't even on the hill, he can just snipe them and pull them off of the hill. We do try and go for that snipe onto what looks to be Milston, who is sadly not going to be urban evasioning up towards the hook. Sayonara is going to be the one going for the 1-for-1. We do get that down, as Kurzep is going to be able to make it away. We don't land that shot onto Milston, unfortunately. We are just going to take the hook onto our near, get another stack of pain res, which that is really lucky that we have a pain res hook on top of this hill, and stack number 2 for no way out, as we need to go and find where Kurzep has gone off to.
Yeah, it looks like how we are going to be going after Milston here on this sort of like pit in the map. And it's going to be an easy hit. And yeah, so sometimes I wonder, I feel like it would just be more worth to just get the hit if you're that close.
The reason why I have to disagree with you there, Will, is that 1 second reduced animation time allows this, denies a bunch of distance for the survivor. So by opting, we actually are going to find Sayonara here over by this pallet gym here. So it's definitely a lot smarter to just get that injure using the cigar. And we are going to be getting our first elimination here.
Yeah, no, I don't think this is the first elimination, because Sayora only got
Kurzep, sorry.
Kurzep was down on hook, but another survivor. Oh, but Deathslinger's so far away from the 3-gen on the bottom side of the map, and it looks like one of those generators actually just got popped.
Now we do have Kurzep, who is in fact dead on hook. here in that terror radius, sort of close by, and was also our renewal player as well. wasn't able to activate it at any point in the trial, which is really unfortunate. Is going to be getting spotted out by Deathslinger, who's going to try and get him at this 4 lane here. I think he should be able to hit this shot, right?
Just
Easy.
just holding down the ADS to zone Curry's away from the pallet. Very smart move. You don't want to risk taking that shot and missing, but you need to be able to force them off, so you just hold it. And now it's 1 survivor out of the game, 2 generators left, and make that 1 generator, and you have a 3-gen, but it isn't as good as you would like. You have those 3 generators in a line. Not the best thing, not the worst thing, but Deathslinger coming to the side of the map finds the reset point, but not before all the survivors can get wait, Milston is still injured. Doesn't quite find him, instead finds Sayora, trying to get another survivor out of the game. Not a bad move. And ooh, we don't quite see the shot. Deathslinger holding up the gun, not quite firing yet. Wants to just play it safe. There's the firecrackers, not getting much value. This pallet gets dropped, and Deathslinger just gonna take the pallet, break it, call it a day.
We are still going to be able to keep our Nia over by this pallet gym. Actually, she's walked towards the back of it and tried to sort of get away here. Is going to be able to dodge out these potential shots, though, as Deathslinger keeps using that ADS, but isn't really feeling super confident with going for that shot a little earlier on that, and that would have been a really, really nice shot. But Sayonara is going to be saying Sayonara and making a bunch more distance to prolong this chase for as long as possible. We see them running over towards this truck here. Not really any pallets in the area here to utilize. Deathslinger trying to go for that shot under the truck. It's not going to be coming through, but the down will inevitably be happening, as we still need to see that final generator getting completed.
Yeah, and Sarah did a really good job just bringing the killer as far away as physically possible. They are on that gen all the way in the pit over there in that little pocket area, just as far away as physically possible. So yes, you do get the kill on the survivor, but Deathslinger is going to lose this generator, and only 2 stacks of no way out.
Now I'm not sure.
I thought
they're working on both of the gens, Will. They've got pressure on 2 different gens at the moment, both being very close to completion around the middle bottom side of the map and the right hand side of the map. Zarina was working on this in the far right here and should be getting spotted out here unless we see some excellent top-notch stealthing coming out. She's nowhere to be spotted. Milston was the one who was much more in danger, and they've both rotated over to this other generator and should be able to get it completed. Unfortunately, Adrenaline is going to be on the Zarina instead of the Ace, so we aren't going to be seeing...
Oh, no.
Bro's going to realize that the other gen's going to be popping right under his nose, and our survivors are really going to have to play this extra carefully, because getting both survivors out in this scenario will be 2 fresh survivors out the door, and that would be huge.
I don't think Deathslinger realized what generator was being worked on, but he definitely noticed the no way out. Instead, is going to be chasing whoever was. I believe this was Milston over here. So, if Milston goes down, this should just be a clean 3 kills for Deathslinger.
But that's the thing, though, Will. With no way out being active, depending on how quick this chase is, there is potential for it to turn into the 4K if he plays it right.
I don't think so. Milson's really far away, and then no way was about to end. What?
Are you sure, Will? Oh no. What a beautiful shot from Bra, though. That was so nice. Very similar sort of interactions to how Huntress works as well, with some loops being able to shoot over. Even if you can't even fully see the survivor, you know their hitbox is going to be there unless they crouch, and he went for it. Bra's just going to be looking at the doors and looking over to where the slug is as well to try and spot out our Zarina, either going for the doors or the slug. So we'll just have to wait and see, because look at those doors. Bra has visuals on both of them from the middle of the map as well as the slug.
I'm still in awe from that shot. That was clean. That was
100%.
so clean. Deathslinger going to be going over to where Milston was slugged. We did see that K-Ann was over there, just hiding behind a rock. Milston kind of crawling towards her. Doesn't want to just give up his teammate. But we do see they're going to commit to the heal, and Deathslinger now knows exactly where they are, at least the general area. I believe we did just see a survivor run across our screen. Yeah, Deathslinger saw it too, and oh, it's Milston again.
Now, there we go. Forcing the grab in the locker, I think, is exactly what we needed to happen, so that Azarina is going to be able to get the door open. But if Deathslinger can get over to this hook quickly enough, do you reckon there's enough time that he could land the shot? I think it's just too far away.
It's too far, yeah. It's too far away. I think Deathslinger can land the shot as KN is leaving, but it's not going to be enough. So that is going to be 3 kills, 9 stages on the dot. And with a score for the round of 21-13, that's a pretty good start for Sequence, wouldn't you say?
Especially all things considered, Will. The start of the game was very, very rough for Deathslinger, but being able to bring it back and pull out the 3K, one survivor getting out with all stages, 21-13 is a really, really good result given the start that we had. But as we swap it over and see Divine Dead on the Slinger, we know what the win con is now, and they're going to be playing for it.
Yeah, and especially if you are Divine Dead, you did put up a good performance. You did get 3 kills, but you got 1 survivor completely fresh out the door, and that is a huge swing of points for Divine Dead. So with that said, we'll see what Divine Dead can do on the killer side after the break.
All right, g'day legends. We are back with the second half of the Deathslinger set, and coolness awareness, everyone. Excise has taken the first chase of the trial over at the Shack. Now, nice to see that the Shack pallet is already going to be dropped and out of the trial as quickly as possible as we take this chase over to a double window tile, and even going further as far as the truck. And Milston hits the snipe and manages to get that down so much quickly than we saw from the first trial. This could set a really, really good pace for Milston to outperform what we saw Deathslinger achieve in the last trial. What do you think?
That was so fast. Within the first minute of the game, already having it down, and already in this kind of pocket area of the map, kind of off to the side. Should Milston choose to, this should be a relatively easy camp onto Excise. The survivors are just going to have to make up for it somewhere in gen pressure. Milston threatening that pallet for existing, as all killers do. We're going to hop onto this generator here closest to the hook, and I don't think anyone's going to be going for that save anytime soon. They just need to get generators done. And not the best start for Sequence, I have to say. And yeah, I don't have much else to say.
Well, I do have some things to add here, actually. This isn't actually the worst spot in the world for Excise to be hooked, given the spread of the gens. We have a fairly tight 3-gen on the far right side of the map. We saw some crows flying up as we see Seth trying to come in for the save here. We should have another survivor here. We do. We have our Steve here. Swatter with the unhook comes through fairly quickly. No second stage going to be applied here, but with so many survivors injured, but so far away from where all the active generators would be, this could either go for or against Sequence's favor here. And Milston, unfortunately, hitting the window instead of getting that shot onto Excise. He needs to get this tunnel out as quickly as possible, and I think we should be seeing it happen, but this is a really tough filler pallet to be looping.
Yeah, and especially against a player like Excise too. That's a nice shot. Oh, but doesn't quite get the hit off of it. Unlucky. As I was saying, a player like Excise, who I was told has like a whole series just teaching people how to play comp, where to look to be able to make those chases perfect. A player like that is going to be hard to chase. Milston got lucky the first time. Excise got lucky the second time. In the meantime, generators are getting done. This isn't looking as good for Milston. And the body block comes in from Seth. Just
perfect. Look at that. Beautiful work by Seth to back up Excise in the chase here. And are going to be missing the follow-up shot onto Seth as well, who should be able to make enough distance to get away. And Milson's going to be forced to go back and look for Excise again. Now, is Milson going to go for a cheeky shot under the truck? I don't think so. Excise is doing, can I just say, a remarkable job of keeping the chase up at this top area of the map here, baiting out all the ADS baits, and does eventually go down at the exit gate up here. But this is going to be huge for Sequence survivors, because they're going to be able to crank out these generators across the map, and Pain Res isn't going to be coming into play, as we already used it on Excise on that first hook. So pop in the back pocket, but that 3-gen that we saw at the start is far from defendable now, as our gen split is going to be almost impossible to defend.
The gens are everywhere. The gens are everywhere. And Excise, bit of a poor performance in that first chase, definitely made up for it in the second one. Milston, ooh, if you had just waited a second longer, that would have been a free shot. But we are in this chase with Swatter. He does finally get hit around the fun bus. Is there going to be another one? Will Milson be able to get the shot through one of the cracks or windows? That is the question right now. Because Swatter's going to have a... Oh. Swatter decided, screw the fun bus. I'm going over to this filler pallet, and Milson just wasn't any the wiser.
Yeah, not really expecting Swatter, to be going over to the edge map here, who plays the filler perfectly, dodges out the shot as well, as gen number 3 has been completed some time ago, and the For the People has come out from iPick onto Excise to make a tunnel out as undesirable as possible. There's no way he makes this window right. We do see the shot coming out from Milston, who will be getting that down, and a different hook across the board. No way out coming into play though, just opting for gen regression perks and trying to get that 4K before all the gens get done, but not unless Sequence has something to say about it, as the 5th gen is going to be popping in 3, 2, 1.5.
We do have the Noed though, and if Milson wants to play really aggressive, we could make something happen here. Noed, a very powerful perk, allows you to insta down. We're gonna have to see what Milson can do with it. Swatter already pulled off of the hook. Having no way out means the survivors can just leave whenever. But having access to the Noed can make a snowball possible. It looks like everyone's just gonna leave, though.
Yeah, we know the win con was a lot of stages need to be acquired by a killer. We needed at least 4 stages out the door for survivors to get the win. Yeah, we're gonna be seeing a 3 out with iPick being fresh and Excise on Death Hook and Swatter being hooked once. Hook stages being spread out across the board. 6 stages total with only 1 elimination, which will be giving Sequence the first set point with a final score of 37-28. What an insane performance from Sequence's survivors going into this. This is going to be tough for Divine Dead.
Yeah, I mean, Sequence had a bit of a blunder early on, but they were able to recover from that with a great chase from Excise. And it looks like we might have some contention with the score. I'm not 100% sure on that. Gonna wait for our staff to say something. But other than that, I do think both teams played fairly well, and Sequence, obviously, they were the better team here, but it wasn't that much of a diff. Alright, okay, it is 28-37, and like you said, Sequence taking set number 1. We are moving into the Huntress round, and we will have that for you after the break. Hello everyone, and welcome to round 2 of Sequence versus Divine Dead. We have Good K Ann playing the Huntress for Divine Dead against the survivors of Sequence. No changes in their survivor lineup. And so far, just K Ann looking around, trying to find survivors in the corrupt. But knowing Sequence, they're already on the other side of the map working on generators.
Yeah, look, it wouldn't surprise me at all. They are notorious for being very sneaky and making it over to the active side of the map. We do hear a little bit of progress on this generator near the not so fun buses, but also a survivor posted up around the hill gen here. I feel like that hill gen could be very important later on in the trial if Good KN is able to defend it. And we are going to be taking the first chase onto Swatter on the active side of the map here. Not going to be able to make it for the M1 though. Jeez, that was close. We are going to be able to utilize that brutal strength though, and in combination with the oak haft and the babushka, I feel like,
oh my god,
that head-on was incredible from iPick. I was convinced that Swatter was just not having the greatest check spots in the world, but that head-on was beautiful, and a good tag onto iPick to follow up.
Oh, almost the 1-2, not quite. Sequence there for a moment, just bullying our killer with the stuns and the blinds, and oh, a nice 180 to pressure these survivors off the generator, and KN doing a really good job just pressuring these survivors, getting some injuries across the board. Unfortunately, it's not going to mean a whole lot if they don't translate into a down, and we do see the survivors just trying to get this generator out of the way as soon as possible. KN forced to dry kick and get that 2.5% regression on it. Gonna reload at this locker and just try and get, I believe this is Excise around the back.
This is actually going to be Swatter once again over on this portion of the map here. I feel like our survivors are going to be well aware of how powerful that hill jet is going to be going back later on in the trial, but cheeky blind coming out from Swatter with a beautiful pallet stun. That's a plus 20 killer so far with those 2 stuns, and we have to check up on these other gens as Corrupt is also long expired by this point as well. All our gens being open to being worked on as we are going to be catching out what looks to be either Seth or Excise over by these broken up buses here. And here he is, Excise, taking the chase here, tasting that hatchet around the bus. And KN's going to try and go for that 2-tap, but we do have an edge map filler to work with. Beautiful stuff from Excise, though, playing that to the T. The unsafe side of the edge map filler does go down eventually, inevitably, but swing off the pallet space as well to make sure the pallet save doesn't come through. Are we going to be able to pain rest that gen before it gets completed? And no! Miss fraction of a seconds away from being able to stop that gen, and that's going to change the pace of the game entirely, I feel like.
Yeah, and we aren't seeing the one hook camp that we thought we might see during the campfire chat, and I've got to say, I'm really happy with what I'm seeing from KN. Being able to just put off that generator from being done for so long enough to get that hook. Huntress can be a slow killer if you don't have a great start, and despite a not great start, manages to prevent the generators from getting done. Now in chase with Seth here on the side of the gets stuck on the wrong side of the pallet, unfortunately, so it's gonna take a little bit longer to catch it, to get that distance back. And Seth just gonna keep W King.
Oh, that was a really, really close snipe. That could have connected, but not quite. I do want to say, though, it is quite refreshing to see that... Ooh, I thought we heard a survivor in one of the lockers for a second. KN was really eyeing it off, but...
We did!
Well, you know what? Yes, we did. Yes, we did. And another head-on is going to come out. We're going to be keeping the head-on counter tracked at the bottom of the screen. That's number 2. Not actually, but that was beautiful stuff from iPick. Should be getting tagged here, though, and he's going to have to take that chase away from the gens here. Playing this filler pallet here. A tough part to be playing, but KN not going to be able to make the swing. iPick's going to be able to last a little bit longer here. Does end up dropping the pallet, though, in anticipation of no respect, but KN is as respectful as they come and is going to be able to get that down onto iPick.
Yeah, and we do have another generator getting done in the meantime. If at the current rate, 1 gen for 1 hook, not that good for KN and Divine Dead. Survivors of Sequence doing a really good job keeping the pressure up, because although not a whole lot of generators are getting done, a lot of generators do have that progress on them. And we are going to have the reload, and no save. I thought there was a chance for someone to come in and get the save during that reload. No such thing will happen. Pop goes the Weasel on that generator. And KN looks away. Knew a survivor was going to be running back. We're now in chase with Swatter. A little slow on that hatch under the truck. The save comes through. And now we're going to be going once again after, I believe we're going after iPick here, going for the tunnel. We have the snipe. Ooh.
I was gonna say earlier, Will, but it's really nice to see that our Huntress here is not opting to just force a death as quickly as possible, as I feel like you would sort of struggle with that playstyle on Wrecker's Yard, and we're really seeing that KN definitely has to split up that hook pressure and try and get a survivor, obviously as close to death hook as possible, but just getting hooks as you get them to, you know, make the trial somewhat winnable. We are going to be able to get Pop onto this far right-hand side generator as well. Almost the maximum amount of regression you can get from Pop, and we've had a pain res sack being depleted. In the meantime as well, X-Ice is going to be caught out over at the pallet here, is forced on this really short side of the pallet gym, but isn't going to be getting hit by that hatchet. Are we going to see an M1 here? Surely, right? Oh.
Yeah. Oh. Oh, I was thinking KN maybe could have gotten the shot onto X-Sides before the save came through, but just wanted to play it safe, get the hit onto the unhooked survivor, go for the tunnel. And another generator did get done in the meantime. iPick goes down.
Oh.
No more pesky head on.
Yeah, that's going to be Pokosiki to iPick as we see the first elimination coming out in the trial here. Now, if I remember, we're going to be setting the win con with this game, sorry. So this is a really good start for KN here. We are going to be seeing gen number 4 getting close to being done here. Making gen number 5, actually. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it earlier, progress across the board, and that's what happens when you leave it unchecked. No way out, no ed. It's going to be rough. There's maybe one more kill left in the trial for KN, but the survivors of Sequence, they're going to be on those doors and getting people out as soon as physically possible. Oh, but we do have a nice hill spot. That could prove advantageous. We do see a survivor by the shack, but KN wants to go for the survivor right here. I believe this is Swatter. Gonna go for the run. And we do have Seth getting on the door in the meantime. Swatter just needs to waste as much time to try and get out alive.
Oh no! That's really unfortunate. Being injured and stuck here is going to be detrimental, as we are going to be seeing KN get that down. Also going to go for the snipes at the door. They should be able to get it open in time, but we get the tag. We're not going to be able to follow it up, though, as we're going to be seeing 2 survivors out the door. I was just going to say, X-Ice would have been the survivor that we don't want to find in this endgame scenario, as Swatter is going to be a fresh hook and award 3 additional stages, whereas X-Ice would have only been 2. So it's good for Divine Dead that KN's going to be able to find, Swatter in this scenario, and that will help with the score. So what's it looking like, Will?
I mean, off the bat, I'm looking at our helpful staff behind the scene. They're telling us the score. It is 15 points for Sequence, 17 for Divine Dead. A good start for KN, especially on this Huntress. And now that we've seen that it is no longer Hook 1 Survivor in camp, I can't wait to see what Sequence comes out with in the next round.
Alrighty, g'day again, legends. We're going to be seeing the second half of the Huntress set here, which is set number 2. Sequence have already secured the first set point, and iPick is already securing this first hit at the shack here. Shack pallet gone. Milston taking the first tag. We spot out another survivor, stealthing in the corrupt side on the right-hand side of the map. I think we're going to commit for this chase onto Milston, though. The sooner we get this first hook, the better, as we saw in our last game that good KN was able to get a fairly quick down and some good early gen pressure from it as well, but Sequence's gen pressure was just so strong, managing to get that 3-man out with 6 stages as the final result. Milston with the green, but it doesn't pay off.
Yeah, a very early down on the Milston. iPick doing a great job out here for Sequence. I almost forgot which team was killing. but we are going to see a little bit of a different build. We do have the agitation, so I pick maybe wanting to play around the basement a little bit. The survivors of Team Divine Dead should be doing a good job already getting some gens done. Corrupt Intervention is no more. And also, we're seeing the No Way Out this time around instead of, I don't remember what the perks were, I think Plop? Yeah, bit of a different perk selection from iPick. And it looks like iPick is going to opt for that hook 1 survivor in camp. As Milson just going to be on this hill hook. iPick not really wanting to go anywhere.
Yeah. Hill hooks are always very, very scary, and I think in this sort of scenario, it is more than justified for our Huntress to be able to at least secure a stage here, if not go for the full elimination, with especially how close in proximity these 4 generators are from where this hill is. So a very strategical position here for iPick to potentially get a really good result to secure a potential second set point for Sequence.
Yeah, and as soon as Milson goes second stage, iPick decides to leave. Generator does get completed in the meantime, but already Sequence doing a good job. iPick has the... I was going to say, iPick has some pressure because of this survivor almost dead, but iPick just hanging out on the hill. That's all there is to it. We do see a survivor way off in the distance, but we're just hanging out on the hill here.
I do really want to see iPick going for a shot. I don't think we're going to be able to land a shot on that far generator. That tile just sort of blocks it off well enough, but it is a shame that Milson is going to be eliminated like this in the trial, and iPick is just going to be defending this 4-gen here. But as the elimination's about to happen, I don't think there's any way our survivors are going to be able to get the save, and they know it as well, and have been prioritizing the generators here. This is scary.
Yeah, a good response from Divine Dead, but like you said, there's a nasty 4-gen. iPick is just going to sit on this hill because he can, and just doesn't really have to go anywhere to defend those generators. We do see him finally leaving, coming around the shack. Bit of an off angle, maybe catch the survivors by surprise. And nope, he's I don't see a survivor here. I think he's looking for him. I thought he was gonna kick the generator, I guess not. And oh, there is a survivor here. It's good K, and I didn't hear anything, so I was a little confused. But
yeah,
KN books it for the generators that are already done, and iPick decides to give up. That was a lot of time wasted for iPick, though. We could see some progress on one of these generators in the 4-gen.
The issue with that, though, Will, is that it's very tough for the survivors to be able to get into position for the gens here, as iPick has already done a good job of keeping this area on absolute lockdown, playing for spots on the survivors and getting at least some info on where the location of everyone is. And as we take this chase onto Sayonara, we're going to be whiffing the shot here. Won't be able to make it to the pallet space, though, but whiffs another shot from very close range. But this follow-up here should be enough to get it down, as I don't think we're going to be able to make it. Oh, we do have a pallet spawn in the cards here, but Sayonara jukes out the hatchet and just says goodbye.
Yeah, that was a bit of a blunder from iPick. I don't have a nice way of putting it. 4 hatchets tossed 1 hit. Not great, and because of it, Sayora does get away pretty much for free, and we are going to have to reload in the killer shack here. That's a generator done, and 2 generators with a decent amount of progress on them. We could have Divine Dead possibly taking the round win here, proving your prediction from so long ago correct.
Yeah, honestly, it is possible, because we also need to pay close note to the fact that it was 6 stages in total from the last game, but 3 fresh hooks were acquired in total with only the 1 elimination. So a 2-kill, 2 fresh scenario, which is most likely what's going to be the result here. I don't think it might not be enough to get the win, the set win. It might just be a tie in the set, but I'm not 100% sure. Our production team will be keeping very close track of the scores here. Now, IPIC is going to be spotting someone out over on the right-hand side. Is once again Sayonara over at what this looks like to be a maze tile, I believe. But actually going to be able to make it away and not get hit by a hatchet here. The pallet's already been dropped, I believe, in that tile, so pretty scary spot. But we do have our other 2 survivors, what looks to be pressuring Gen on the hill here.
Yeah, and we are going to kick this generator, and it's so we have 2 generators here, and they both have so much progress on them. IPIC has the RNG gods gifted IPIC with a wonderful 4-gen, and it is slowly slipping through his hands as these survivors are just able to get little bit by little bit more and more progress. 3 survivors left in the trial, but all of them are healthy. IPIC not being able to get the tags to force a reset, and we're going to be leaving the 3-gen a little bit to chase Kurzep here. That gives time for Sayora and K-An to work on those generators, especially the one way in the back there.
Yeah, now I believe that was good K-An positioned towards that hill gen in the shack, but having all your survivors healthy and attacking these gens at the same time is just so difficult to keep up with, as 3 healthy survivors across the board. Oh, we do still have the pallet to utilize here though, but Sayonara greets it perfectly. Is going to be able to wrap around, dodges out this tag from IPIC here. He's going to be able to go for the pallet here, but goes along the outside and dodges another hatchet as well. IPIC really struggling to get some health state losses onto Sayonara. This chase alone could be enough to get that final gen completed.
Oh, and you said it. Final generator gets done. It's like that bright jacket that he is wearing is a projectile deflector. Kurzep takes a tag over by the filler pallet. However, IPIC has to reload. No Way Out has just been procced. I was gonna say it hadn't been procced yet. So now IPIC knows where the survivor, at least one survivor, is. However, IPIC wants to be able to get Kurzep down and out.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right, because at least you're going to be getting that 6-stage result as well if you were to catch Kurzep here. And what do you know? Here he is over by this edge map filler. Now, we've seen how difficult it is for the 110 killers to be able to play these edge map fillers, but Kurzep playing it absolutely beautifully, even greeting the pallet once again, expecting the pull-up from IPIC. The respect coming out, being scared of being stunned by that pallet.
Oh my
IPIC
God.
not quite being able to make it, but there we see it. And I don't think, because we only had 1 stack of No Way Out, we're going to be hitting the tree there, by the way. The door is going to get opened and we're going to be seeing the other 2 survivors making it out. So 2K 6 stage, just as predicted. Now we're just going to have to wait and see once the scores update. Is that enough for Sequence to take the lead, or is Divine Dead going to be taking it away? And it looks like Divine Dead is going to be securing the set point here with a final score of 33 for Divine Dead and 29 to Sequence. So we are going to be going into a tiebreaker on the Coal Tower with the Mastermind. How do you feel about that, Will?
I mean, I think it's going to be really interesting. We are going to be seeing Tree Trick and General Blight on the killers against the survivor rosters, but I do want to take a moment to just reflect on this Huntress run, because we saw 2 very different playstyles. We saw IPIC for Sequence going with the traditional hooker survivor, camp them to death, and it was close, but it didn't work out in the end. Instead, it was good K-An's strategy of, okay, play like a normal killer. I have to be active. I have to go chase these survivors, go get those kills, and they just happened to edge out Sequence there. And I think that is a talking point worth mentioning, especially as we see more Huntress matches in the future.
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be a lot to learn from this Huntress set moving forward in Season 8. A lot to learn from, but we are going to go into a quick break while we set up the Mastermind trial. So we'll be right back with you after a little break.
Hello everyone, and welcome to what should be the last round of Sequence versus Divine Dead. The score is 1-1 as we enter the Mastermind set on Coal Tower. We have General Blight playing the Mastermind for Team Sequence against the survivors of Divine Dead. Again, no changes in the Survivor roster. We have Kurzep, Milston, Sayora, and Good K-Ann, all playing the same Survivor picks. And we're going to be right in a chase with K-Ann over in the corrupt side of the map. And oh, twice in one day, throw the pallet down just to get smacked into it. Unlucky.
I guess it really is just Wesker things, but we are going to be continuing this chase around the back of the main building, still in the corrupt side of the map, so it's a good place for the Survivor to be taking the chase, as the gen split is pretty difficult for our killer to be keeping up with, as we don't really have a strong enough 4-gen, but we do get that pallet stun coming out from K-Ann at the main building. That is actually going to save so much, as we're going to be able to prolong this chase for just long enough that we're going to see some early gen pressure.
Yeah, and especially running in the corrupt, there's no worry about possibly interrupting someone. There's one generator getting done. K-Ann did get picked up and is getting thrown on the hook. Pain resonance being used on whatever gen. I can't imagine there was be too much progress on another generator for that pain res to get value on. Oh, that was so close. Wow. Sayora just managing to avoid getting chased. Milston, now the unlucky person, gets slammed into a rock and is on the way. Gonna be running upstairs, gonna try and get some value out of that bounce landing. Playing some mind games here. And that was a little scary. Sayora comes in for the body block, just is like, I'm here, hit me. And another generator gets done.
Sorry to cut in, Will, but what was really impressive about that is that General Blight was able to vault that main building window with just one dash, so able to recovering the dashes a lot quicker. Oh, breeding that pallet is not a good idea. Unfortunately, Sayonara are going to be getting yoinked up there and slapped back onto that same pain res hook. But gen number 2 is going to be getting completed in the distance, and wow, the pace of the game right now is really just going very back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good start for both sides. Unfortunate, because yeah, you got 2 gens done for Divine Dead, 2 hooks for Sequence, but 2 hooks for 2 gens isn't that great of a trade. We have the pallet drop from Milston, who is fully infected, so he's going to be running a little bit slower, and that is going to be the Shack pallet dropped. We have the bounds up, and Milston's going to avoid getting hit. Just be playing.
Oh dear.
What? I'm so confused.
Go for the M1 because of the full infection. He wants to get that power grab, which we are going to be seeing him getting. But Milston just knowing, I'm going to vault this pallet, and you're not going to do anything about it. And I'm just going to waste as much time as possible. But inevitably is going to get insta-grabs there.
I forgot about the insta-grab. I genuinely forgot that was the thing. I thought it was like exposed or something. I'm mixing up my killers at this point. But we are gonna have Sayora off in the distance. A loose chase sighting. We don't have the music quite yet, but we are definitely after the Nia. And oh my, what a read on that! Gets the insta grab. And wow, that was quick, to say the very least. Milston gets pulled off of the hook. Sayora back on one, and just like that, all of Divine Dead's pressure is kind of just very steadily seeping away and into the hands of Sequence and General Blight.
General Blight has done an amazing job at turning around the trial here from what started off to be a very difficult first chase into cycling through some pain res hooks and being able to utilize the full infection onto Milston as well, just to get some nice quick hooks. The survivors just haven't had the time to keep up with all these unhooks, resets, sprays, and then to be able to keep up with the gens at the same time is just too much for the survivors to be able to accomplish. We get the tag onto Serena, and Ace isn't going to be able to make it in time for the save.
They messed up the 2-man saves. Sayura's gonna die.
Oh no! And the body block comes through though, so Serena is going to be able to get that save onto Sayonara. But that is going to force the 1-for-1. Third gen gets completed. I believe this was a pain res hook as well. So we are... Actually, no, we aren't going to be wasting it. So that is good to see. Oh, it doesn't even matter. Anyway, good can was hooked at the start of the trial, I believe. So pain res has already been utilized there. But the no way out stacks is what I'm really looking at here for the people coming out onto KN. And look at this. A beautiful dash to get that grab onto Milston, who, if I'm not mistaken, to death?
No.
Okay.
It's just Sayora. Unfortunately, didn't grab, but we do know Nia is high and does the grab. And General Blight, slow start, but it's just absolutely dominating this trial. Just putting in so much work. So one survivor out of the game and another survivor being spotted out. And this is the healthiest survivor, so Kurzep isn't going to be able to do much here for the save.
Yeah, I think that broken is going to... I think Kurzep's still going to be broken before they can reset and go for the unhook onto Milson. If a double save were to happen, it would have to be with both survivors, but Kurzep is doing the right thing and committing to the generator here to get some more points on the board for Divine Dead. You'd want to get as many gens done as possible in this scenario, and we know that KN is positioned around this water tower. General Blight not going to be able to spot them out, though, unfortunately, as we see elimination number 2 coming through.
Yeah, and Kurzep not being spotted so far is really good because Kurzep is that missing pain res stack, is the missing no way out stack, and is that missing bonus point for a unique hook. So Kurzep just needs to stay hidden and maybe try and go for the hatch. Because this is not looking good. I don't see a 3-gen, but it's still very unlikely that... It's very unlikely that all of the survivors are going to get out.
Oh, no time for Kurzep to dodge. That dash there is going to get grabbed up by General Blight, who did an amazing job at keeping onto the chase and tracking down that blood and figuring out where Kurzep went to. We are going to get that 4th pain res as well onto the gen that KN was working on the bottom side of the map. And I'm not too sure if he knows about this, but I think in this scenario, he's just going to camp the hook here for a while and be sure to check up on the gens just before second stage comes through so that Serena doesn't pop that last gen.
Yeah, if Serena pops this last gen, that is going to be huge for the survivors, because any points at this point that the survivors of Divine Dead can get for themselves is going to make it easier on their killers. And it looks like we are going to see General Blight going to check on this generator. Serena not there at the moment, though. So General Blight might just be... decide, okay, Zarina's not there, I can camp this, and that might give KN a chance to get that generator done, but we will have to see what happens.
Yeah, now looking back at Kurzep's chase as well, I'm not sure if he would have been able to sort of crouch and hug against the wall, as he did try and sort of go for a dodge out instead, and I think General Blight adjusted accordingly, but that could have been enough to dodge out that grab. But actually, now that I think of it, he was looking into the wall, so I don't think there's anything Kurzep could have done there. And speaking of, Kurzep is going to go into the second stage, and General Blight going to be checking lockers, thinking that Zarina's going to be positioned for the hatch, which wouldn't be unlikely, but I think she should be able to save in this scenario.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have the save, placing the first aid spray on the ground to kind of...
Renewal.
And decisive. Oh, we could see a nice little recovery here. And using the spray to get the killer's attention, that is really smart because it doesn't count as a conspicuous action, but good KN gets found anyway. Oh, this isn't... Oh! Manages to avoid the dodge. Over at this... I don't even know what this tile is called, but gets the pallet stud onto General Blight. Plus the smash hit, that 4-second sprint burst. Gonna be able to get a lot of distance off of that. Able to come to this middle filler pallet. Could be somewhat difficult for General Blight to get those bounds down.
Yeah, but he nearly managed to hit it.
Nearly, not quite. But all this time that this chase is happening, Kurzep is going to be able to work on one of these generators. But it's so far from getting done.
Yeah, it looks like it was only sitting at about a healthy 40% progress here. Zarina going to be playing this water tower perfectly here. Back over towards this dropped pallet. And we do have, I believe this is called a maze tile, if I'm not mistaken. But, really well played from our Wesker here. Going to be getting that grab. And is he going to drop and go for the slug? Or will he be able to make it over to the hatch before Kurzep can make it? I think Kurzep's just going to commit to the gen here. But will he pop it before the hatch gets closed?
That's the question, because it is going to be the difference of 2 points. If Kurzep can finish that generator, it's 2 points. If not, that's unlucky. Kurzep unable to finish that generator, loses out on the 2 points. That's rough.
No. Not only that, Will. Sorry to butt in, but we got to remember that we have 4 stacks of no way out.
Oh no. Well, GG 4K easy. No, it's anything but easy for General Blight. The survivors of Divine Dead have put in a lot of work in this trial. And it is just going to be Kurzep dying. There's no way that I don't see a universe in which Kurzep can escape.
Oh, absolutely not. But with that being said and done, though, what's the score looking at right now, Will, with this elimination onto Kurzep here?
Assuming Kurzep dies, which he's alive right now. But assuming Kurzep dies, it is going to be 8-28 in favor of Sequence. And what I want to know is just, I want to know, 1, how close that last generator was, and 2, what sort of impact is that going to have on the results of this match, because we see General Blight putting up a 4K here. And a 4K at 1 is so much easier than a 4, or I forgot what I was saying. But basically, it's a lot easier to do 4 gens than it is to do all 5. So it's gonna be down to the wire, I think. Alright. So with all that said, we have one more game, one more chance for Divine Dead to bring it back. And we'll see that right after the break.
Alrighty, welcome on back in, legends, for what's going to be the final game for this matchup here. And Ipic's already coming out with the balanced landing, but he's going to be taking that power hit very, very early on from Tritric on the Mastermind, on the Wesker here. Going to be setting up the main building a bit here in Chase as well. Breaking those breakable walls. The Firecracker comes out already, and we're going to be getting rid of these resources around the main building as well. Now, also, unfortunately, Sequence is going to be taking a -2 penalty as a Macmillan offering wasn't brought as we were loading into this trial. But since we are on the coal tower, we may as well stay here and save everyone's time.
Yeah, and that -2, actually, the -2 makes up for the generator in the last game, and that was a nice dash from Tree Trick, and that's gonna be an early hook onto Ica. But yeah, that -2 onto Team Sequence makes up for that last generator not getting done by Kurzep at the end of last game. So the win condition for Sequence is now a little different. They have to finish all 5 generators.
Yeah, now what this does actually is Sequence now has to at least get a stage out of the door or out of the trial in order to win the step point here, because the 4K1 was the result we got from the last one, now changed to 4K0 with the penalty. I feel like this really messes with Trick as well, because as we can see here, he's brought in a very heavily gen regression oriented build and is not going to be able to have no way out to play around with here. But X-Ice is going to be coming out with the For the People onto Ipic here, so
performance indeed.
All right, so
7 minutes is all I could spare.
I'm still. Okay, we're being told no penalty. So scratch everything we just talked about for the last minute. There is no 2-point penalty. A bit of miscommunication somewhere, but it's fine. It's fine. So just no penalty. We're back to where we were before. Win condition is complete all generators. Tie condition is get 4 generators done. And excise. Second hook of the game. 1 generator done. True trick. Spotting out. I believe this is Swatter. I think. And instantly going back to the hook. And it was iPick. And looks like, ooh, Tree Trick chose the wrong side of the main building to be on. Breaks the wall instead, and or there was a survivor up here. Might have been iPick with that balance landing, get some value out of it. And already Tree Trick has caught up. That balance landing value gone.
Yeah. Now, I feel like we do need to sort of explain a little bit the whole reason with the map offering being needed or not needed in these scenarios. There's been a very recent bug. Oh, wow. Hello, I think we're going to get caught out at this short wall here. Beautiful grab there. But, you know, there's just been a bug that's been affecting custom games where not being sent to the right map in a realm, it's been really difficult to have to keep up with, and that all being said and done, it's just caused a bit of confusion, and we've gotten past that. Now, iPick is in a very scary spot here, as he's already been hooked previously in the trial here, but these gens are getting done very, very quickly. Sequence are keeping up on pace with the gen pressure that they've had in all of these trials, and iPick making the smarter play and pre-dropping the pallet this time in the hope of not getting caught, but Tree Trick is going to catch up and get the grab there and get the second hook onto iPick, sorry.
Yeah, Tree Trick with that second hook. Sequence, 2 generators away from winning their first match of the season. And I want to say, I'm looking at Tree Trick's build, we haven't seen too much value out of the Pop Goes the Weasel Eruption. So it's half your perk build that isn't really being used. But already we have another chase potentially getting started, and I'm looking, we do have a 3-gen on the top side of the map. And we are in a chase with someone, but couldn't quite see who it was. But we do have Excise game pulled, or no, iPick game pulled off the hook, and then for the people I think that's iPick tossed.
Oh.
Is that all you have?
Oh no, the full infection did come through, but not in the right enough time and not having anything to bounce iPick off of, but the balance landing is going to come out. Using those leather gloves to get the power back quick enough as well, but wow.
Yeah, so some unlucky tosses from Tree Trick. That's going to cost a lot of time. And another toss that doesn't get anything. Oh no! Tree Trick is not having luck with this Mastermind.
Do you actually?
And finally, iPick gets slammed into something. But another generator gets done and the 3-gen is gone. It's going to be really difficult for Tree Trick to stop this last generator from being completed.
Wasting my time.
It is really unfortunate that that 3-gen is going to be broken. We do manage to get that elimination onto iPick, but if we were able to get that before that 4th gen got completed, we could have applied a pop and a rupture to that 4th generator and potentially hold all of those topside gens, but sadly, alas, it was not meant to be. So yeah, 3v1, 1 gen remaining, and the gen split very much so in the favor of our sequence survivors, but not a whole lot of gen pressure on the board just yet. We're going to be catching up onto Seth here over by the shack side of the map, and Excise and Swatter, you just have to assume, are up towards the main side.
Yeah, and Tree Trick went for a read there, doesn't quite read it right. Seth just doubles back, denying that slam, and Seth decides to just double back, doesn't quite want to go to the shack. A little bit of a mind game here. And Tree Trick does get the slam. No messing about this time around. Seth in a little bit of trouble over at this 3 lane. And the mind came from a tree trick. Seth didn't see it. And that's gonna be another hook, but the survivors of Sequence, as soon as they finish this generator, is there pain resonance? Not in time. That is the last generator completed and the win for Team Sequence.
Wow.
I have to say, what a round.
Absolutely beautiful stuff by the survivors of Sequence to follow up and gain that second set point, which was a very, very close matchup, I do have to say. Sequence and Divine Dead both playing at a very similar set of skills, but Sequence going to be coming out on top here, as we should be expecting to see several survivors being able to get some outs here.
Yeah, and Tree Trick coming over to check this door. We do have scratch marks here, but that's one survivor, and you gotta know that the other survivors are just going to be on that other door. Seth is going to be the sacrificial lamb here, dying so that his friends can escape. And yeah, Seth is going to get grabbed, and that is going to be one last kill for Tree Trick. And yeah.
I always get tripped out a bit by the spectator bug of the hook counter making it look like it's a 4K, but no, we do get that 2 out to finish up with Sequence taking that W. So now I've got to quickly double check who we're going to be seeing in the next matchup, as we've just finished up with Sequence versus Divine Dead.
It is going to be Elysium and Paradox. I don't know if that is the exact order, but those two teams are going head-to-head in the next matchup.
Yeah, that's right, and that's going to be really, really exciting to see. We're going to be doing the campfire chats for this matchup in about 15 minutes exactly from now. It's hard to scope with time zones and stuff. I believe it's 7 p.m. 6:30 p.m. CET, because right now it's like 4:30 in the morning for me in Australia.
Just whatever hour it is, take your hour 40.
Yeah, look,
it works.
I can confirm it will be at 6:40 p.m. CET. Next campfire chat will be starting. And yeah, what an insane finish to this matchup, and GG's to Sequence. But this is unfortunately where I'm going to be heading out for the night. It's been an absolute pleasure to be on the desk with you again, Will, and enjoy the games for week 1 of DBDL Season 8.
Yeah, it's been nice to have you. Thank you for coming out and casting with me. But like you said, you got to get going. So thank you, and I guess I'm going to keep our next caster as a surprise for that campfire chats. But Sequence taking home the win, 43-25 in this set. Well played to both teams, and we will be back with Paradox versus Elysium after the break.